I'm out of their reach, I handle my business. My vision is 20, my speech is money. My path is paved, my steps are brave. My soul I own, I'm never a slave. My hunger was pain, it's hunger games, you feel me?
You see us coming, we are not running.
Okay, hello, ladies. Thank you for coming to Kick It with Key on this beautiful, cold but chilly day. This is a wife life, so everyone on the call is married. So I'm gonna go ahead, start off with some introductions, and then we're gonna get into the topic. So, Lila, you're up first.
Okay, my name is Lila. I've been married for 6, together for 13 years. Um, and life is, that's all I got for now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katisha. I've been married for almost 8 years, and we have been together for almost 17 years. I think that math is right. We have 3 children together. I think that's it.
Okay, and it's your hostess with the mostest, and I've been married for 5 years. This year makes 6. I like to say that we had a light switch relationship because we've been on and off for it's going to be 18 years this year. However, consecutively, we've been together for 10 years. So now let's get these people the realty on this wife
Okay.
life.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, it's so funny that we're recording this episode today because I saw a post on Facebook yesterday that said, it's easy to get married. It's hard to stay married. So,
Mhm.
I see all these
Mhm.
people, they're like, oh, I'm engaged, we're gonna get married, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, girl, get married. But the importance is, are you gonna stay married?
Mhm.
So one of the things I like to shine on Kicking It with Key is like the truth. The stuff that
Mhm.
people don't really tell you because everyone wants to show you the good side. No one wants to show you the real side. I'm not gonna call it
Right.
a bad side. I'm gonna say the real. So I think that we all have one thing in common that our husbands have a hobby.
Mhm.
So do one of you want to kick it off? Or do you want me to
I'll
kick it
I'll
off?
I'll
You'll
I'll
kick
kick
it
it.
off? All
I'll
right, go
kick
ahead,
it.
girl. Kick it,
Okay.
girl.
Um, my husband has a hobby. He likes to make music. So
Mhm.
that means um, studio sessions, writing sessions, shows,
Mhm.
promo, all that stuff. Um, when we were first dating, it was fun and interesting and exciting. I do think he is extremely talented. I think that you know, there's so many people out here trying to make music, trying to be a rapper, and he'd be like, let it go. Don't even don't even try to do that. But I think he has a unique voice. I think he has a unique style. I feel like it's something that he could do if he, really wanted to do it. But it has come with some hardships in our marriage, because his our goals in that realm don't always align. So some things I don't understand when he is pursuing his passion. And to be honest with you, I used to carry some resentment because he did have an outlet. He did have something that he was passionate about. And I was over here just being a mom and a wife, which isn't his fault that I don't, it's not his fault I didn't have a passion. It was just, you know, how things unfolded. But that's just like a mini rundown of his hobby.
So my husband's hobbies hobby is riding motorcycles. And I think he's been riding for like 10 years now. And I can't say at first it was like, oh, it's so fun and exciting, because that wasn't my hobby. And I actually think motorcycles are like dangerous. So, but I will say, like, at the beginning when he started to ride motorcycles, like he was like really selfish with like time, because this was new to him. So he will be out for like maybe 8 hours of the day. And like you said, Katisha, like I was home being a mom to our son, because I forgot to mention that we have 2 kids. So then we had a son. So he took up a lot of time and took a lot of time away from the household. So that did cause me, well, I did have some resentment as well towards his hobby. But he also admitted that he was selfish. So it just confirmed that I was right all along, basically. So.
And
We do be right though.
we do, like, for real, happy wife, happy life. Like, just tell the truth, it is what it is. So my husband, keep in mind, we met 18 years ago. We were in high school. And when I met him, this was already a passion of his. So my husband plays football, and he still plays football 18 years later. I mean, it's very, very serious, very competitive. There's the flag season, there's the contact season, there's all-star games. Like, I mean, it's really, I mean, for real, a real big deal. And so initially, of course, before kids, I'm at the games, like, I don't have anything else to do. So of course I'm gonna go support my man. But then we have children, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna cut back? Because when will there be quality time? Because with you all and your husband's hobbies, I mean, of course, with Katisha, her husband probably has to take time to sit and write raps or find beats and things like that. So that's like I will call that like his practice. But my husband has a practice that he has to go to at a set time. So whereas he could, Katisha's husband could find time any time to, like, he could be in the bathroom and writing, but he's still in the house. My husband has to leave and go somewhere for practice. And like it was stated, resentment was there because I did not have a hobby. I think I just finally found what I'm supposed to do, really late. But there's also risk of injury, like you said, with motorcycles. Like, it's dangerous. So, and unfortunately, in 2013, he did get severely injured, and was out. He was down for 7 months. Like, so everything falls on me at that time. So it's like, I understand this is your passion, but like, when we're gonna hang the cleats up? Why you can't be the coach where it's a little bit safer, maybe, and redirect some of the time and energy that's spent. So my question to you all is, how do you have the conversation that maybe this is taking a little bit too much time and there's not enough quality time? And is that more so because you're looking for time to spend with him? Or is it because, like, I'm trying to pass these kids off to you so I can go do hot girl shit like Megan Thee Stallion?
Well, okay, so I wanted to clarify something, because I don't want people thinking like, oh, they like some bitter women. They don't got no hobbies. They don't have nothing to do. But I think, all of our relationship dynamic is like different, obviously. So Leon and I started dating in 2007. 2 years later, I got pregnant. So between 2007, we were still on and off, but I guess 2008, we kind of got like a solid we had a solid foundation where we were, I guess, like dating each other, but then came the baby. then came trying to maintain, and we were struggling pretty much. And so then he started riding motorcycles. So it's like we went from dating to me becoming a mom, and we know everything that comes along with that. And then you being gone out the household a lot. So I don't want people to think like, oh, they bitter because they got a hobby or whatever. Like, no, my husband, I don't know about your husbands, but no, he was not intentionally, but he was taking away time. He was taking away time from the home, basically. So I don't care that he has a hobby. I mean, I think it's great. Like, he has an outlet. It was just like the small things that came along with that package deal of him having a hobby. So.
And just to piggyback off of what Lila is saying, it wasn't, I would have loved to have a hobby in the early stages of his hobby, but my job at the time, for him to do his hobby, I had to be mom. So it wasn't that, you know, he's doing music and I'm doing crafts or something, or a podcast over here, because we could work together. I had to step up and do more of the household things to make sure he was able to have his outlet. So that's where the resentment comes in, because there's not enough hours in the day. Something is going to fall. And unfortunately, when you're a mom, things can't fall. You know what I'm saying? So to have the conversation, first of all, I had to be real with myself why the hobby was a problem. And the hobby for me became a problem because of the person he was making the music with. We just gonna call him Chicken Wing, okay? I don't like Chicken Wing, okay? Kiki, I see you laughing. I don't like Chicken Wing because I feel when you are married and hanging with people that are not, y'all priorities don't line up. So if I'm telling my husband, you know, I don't think you should be doing a show on a weeknight. If he's making music with someone who doesn't have the same responsibilities that he does and books a show on a Tuesday, you know, that's where we have a breakdown. So I was having an issue with the person he was making music with. So I had to be honest with myself about what the problem was. We had a conversation about what my issue was. I didn't like at any given time he could drop whatever he was doing and go. I didn't like that. I didn't like that we couldn't set up a schedule so that, for example, if he had a show, we had a babysitter scheduled, we had all these things in line so that I could participate and start to be a part of his hobby. I couldn't do that because it was like, oh, I got a show tonight, and just be gone. So we had a conversation about how to fit his hobby into our life schedule. So if you're going to the studio, please make an appointment so we can put it on the calendar. My husband's going to be at the studio on Tuesday from 9 to 11. So I can prepare my day or the week for him being out. Okay, I am going to do a show on Saturday. Can you get a babysitter? Sure. I have a week in advance to make a babysitter, get a babysitter, and then I'm engaged in your hobby. What was happening for me is that disconnect of planning and scheduling wasn't allowing me to buy in to his hobby, which also made me not understand it and dislike it. So once we developed a schedule for it and he stopped messing with Chicken Wing, it's been much better, I believe.
That's good. I mean, I commend you because I guess I didn't know how to communicate properly. And I was just like complaining all the time and just not starting arguments, but a lot of my complaining led to like our arguments or whatever. And I think it wasn't until my husband had his motorcycle accident that he actually slowed down. So it was like, I didn't have to talk as much because now his life, you know, like he realized like my life is on the line. And you have a son at home who will be devastated if you continue like the lifestyle that you created instantly or whatever. But I will tell you, so this is kind of, well, not off topic, but what really took me over was during the time my husband was riding motorcycles or whatever, he had got like a certification for IT or something like that. Oh no, I think it was like a 2-year degree or something. Anyway, he had a graduation and me and my son is there. We're like excited. We're like, oh, you know, so happy for my husband. And then I see two motorcycle chicks come to the graduation. I'm like, what the where have I never seen these girls before? Like, this ain't like his homeboys that he like I know of. This is a graduation. That's like a mistress coming to the funeral for your, I don't know. But I was just like, he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I put it out there to a few people to come, but the two people that come is two females. So at that point, I was like done. Like I began to throw ultimatums at him. I don't know if it worked. Maybe it pushed him to fall off his. No, I'm not gonna say that. But but no. But and the crazy part is, one of the two girls, they showed up at the hospital when he did fall off his bike. But I don't know. I think between that was it for me. And like I didn't have that proper conversation, like like communicated with your husband, Katisha, but yeah, I was done after that. And I mean,
it takes a lot to have that conversation. I mean, it wasn't year 1. I mean, it might have been year 10 of bickering and going back and forth and starting arguments about it for me to step back a little bit and say, okay, what is the issue? What am I? And there were insecurities there. I mean, you in a club, you know, in the middle of the night, drinking and partying and shit, and I'm at home.
Well, Katisha, you only had one chicken wing. It was like 20 chicken on my end. Chicken wings,
I tell you, you got to get rid of
chickens and chicken wings, whatever you want to call
them. And the mumbo sauce, you know, the chicken wings and the mumbo sauce. Okay, so I'm like, oh my goodness. It made me think of that little TikTok too. Chicken wing, hot dogs and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
The whole song.
Yeah, the whole song. TikTok is my life. Okay, so all right. So with me, I feel as though, you know, I communicated a lot of things. Like, you know, when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, so are you gonna slow down with this? Are you gonna you know, take a break from that? And it was like promises were made that weren't, you know, like it was like, yeah, I said this, you know, boom. So when my husband got injured in 2013, that's the year we turned 26. So he didn't have any health insurance. So baby then YouTube how to rehabilitate. Okay. So he never had surgery to repair the tears in his knee. He tore his ACL, MCL, and his meniscus. And he got on YouTube. Like, I mean, he turned 26 like 2 weeks after. So he had 2 weeks of, he went to the doctors, like, so we knew what was messed up with his leg. He was supposed to have surgery, but by the time the surgery date was scheduled, he didn't have health insurance. And at the time we weren't married. So, you know, I couldn't help him out or whatever. Cause you know, you can stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26. So, but he did rehabilitate his knee all on his own, like Google and YouTube and stuff. So, and he's back playing. So now that you're back playing, but you know, you ain't been to no doctor, had no surgeries, no nothing. Like, I don't think you should be playing the whole year. You get what I'm saying? Like, find your season. So there was a lot of conversations where it comes off like I'm bitter because I don't have a hobby. And you know, so that's why I'm saying these things. But it's also like, you know, I mean, I love you, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think you will ever hurt our kids, but we're not spending time together to see how we parent with each other. So I'm comfortable enough to want to go out and have a hobby and leave you at
Mhm.
home with the kids. You get what I'm saying? Because you're never
Mhm.
here. You always
Mhm.
playing football. And that's how it was initially. Because I remember like one time before we had our daughter, I left him at home with our son, and I'm like, oh, what he eat today? And he was like, oh, a hot dog and yogurt. I'm like, the whole day, like the whole 8 hours I've been gone. So that's why
Mhm.
he ate. He was like, well, I didn't know he was hungry. I'm like, well, don't you eat? Like,
Mhm.
what? He was like, what? And he's a baby. I'm like, a growing baby. Like he's eating solid food. Like he needs
Mhm.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just like you do. Like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about?
Mhm.
And so it's things like that where it's just like the disconnect was, and I think us being, I don't want to necessarily say it's us being young, but I feel like it's us being young
Mhm.
Mhm.
because we haven't been able to get certain things out of our system before we started family life.
You know what?
Yep.
And I was about to
That's
bring that
it.
up, Kiki, because I remember you making that comment. You were like, well, I hope, well, I'm not going to cross the line, but you said you wish that your husband had this, had this and that before becoming
Mhm.
a husband or whatever and a father. And I do think about that, like maybe if my husband, pursued his dreams, and me too, because I was going to speak on
Mhm.
that or whatever, prior to marriage, they wouldn't like gravitate to this hobby because it's almost like they like Leon he's addicted to bikes. Like that's his
Mhm.
thing. So it doesn't matter if he's not riding during the season. I'm watching YouTube videos of him 2 years ago on the track. So it's like it's never ending. But
Mhm.
that's because I feel like maybe us, and that's what we're talking about our husbands, but like um they never have been able to like really soak in not like a hobby, but like things that mean a lot to them prior to
Mhm.
becoming
Yeah.
married and a father. And that's why
Mhm.
it comes off as being selfish.
Mhm.
Because you can have a hobby and not be selfish,
Mhm.
but it's
And they
because
didn't have no money before, Lila.
true,
Now they
true,
got money, so they really can indulge.
right.
Okay, because I'm like, why do you need a pair of cleats? And he was like, oh, I'm playing with a new team, so I got to match the new team. I'm like, why are we changing teams, baby? What is this? Is we getting traded? I mean, where's the sign on deals? Like, where's the coin? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm,
understand.
mm-hmm,
And it wasn't that, um, like I don't mind him having a hobby. I just didn't feel like I was one of his priorities. So I felt like
Mhm.
I was on a back burner. Now,
mm-hmm,
if you gave me that time to,
mm-hmm,
feel like I'm as important, then I
mm-hmm,
probably couldn't complain. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
mm-hmm,
okay, you're doing everything you need, everything that needs to be done at home is done, and now you're gonna go have your free time.
Mhm.
mm-hmm,
Cool. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that took years to get to that point. You get what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying?
Mhm.
Um, I'm like, if you get a schedule, why aren't you sharing the schedule with me? So that way I could plan around the schedule where it's like, okay,
Right.
well, he's going to be busy this weekend, but
mm-hmm,
maybe next weekend we could do something like just a date night. And, another weekend, it could be a family thing. I
mm-hmm,
think what happens is for my case and my husband, I think that there wasn't enough intimacy. You get what I'm saying? And when people think intimacy, they're thinking like sex, maybe.
mm-hmm,
I'm talking about just spending quality time, like
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
walking in the park, holding your hand, staring in your eyes while the wind blows, and my hair's, and the wind gone with the wind,
mm-hmm,
fabulous. Like I was missing that time. So
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
then of course I hated football because not only do you play it, then we gotta watch it on Sundays,
mm-hmm,
NFL, Mondays and Thursdays. And
mm-hmm,
Thursdays is Shonda night. Okay. Who has time to be competing?
mm-hmm.
Then there's college football.
Oh
Like y'all.
no.
Yes, girl. So Saturdays is football too. So of course I started to hate football. But
Yeah.
now let's fast forward to today. Like me and him going back and forth last week because I'm like, nah, it's gonna be the Bucks versus the Chiefs. Like now I'm all into the damn football.
Mm-hmm,
Mhm.
But it took time to get there. So like you were saying
Yeah.
earlier, like you're not trying to come off sounding bitter. Like I'm not bitter about it now. That's why we could talk about it.
Right.
And I'm not, and it's not gonna make me want to go fight him. But it took some time to get to the point where I wasn't bitter. Cause like
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
he even had signed our son up for football. I didn't think our son is a football player. Like I don't think that's what he wants to do,
Mhm.
but I think he wanted to spend time with his dad, and since his dad is
Mm-hmm.
passionate about it, he decided
Mhm.
he was going to do it too. So the first year was cool, but I was kind of, you know, shady boots because he's
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm not gonna make it in time to take him to practice. Can you take him to practice? And I'm like, I didn't sign him up, so no, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I know, okay guys, don't come for me in the comments, but um I know that was shady on my part, but as time, like the second year I was more involved,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the second year, since I was more involved, I think that gave him a chance to, not that he wanted to not be involved, but the job he was working at the time, he didn't get off in time to always be there, from start to finish. But
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole reason why our son did it in the first place is to spend time with him. And if mommy's still there, he could be with mommy doing anything.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you just have to make sure that if you're going to have a hobby, whether you're the wife in this situation or the husband, that you have to make sure that your priorities are taken care of.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, because when Leon was riding a bike, if he rode his bike to work, that means he was at work from what, 7 to 4, then he's not coming home after work. He's out on the bike. So a lot of times we didn't
Mm-hmm.
see him. This is like two to three times a week. We didn't see him until 10 o'clock. Aiden, our son didn't see him until the next day. So for me, it was just like, how much more of a point do I have to prove that, this hobby is like getting in the way of, like, at this point, not forget me, but I could subside my emotions and my feelings. It's like now you're taking time away from your child. So like
Mm-hmm.
now I'm defensive. Like I'm getting defensive. I'm like, I didn't have this child by myself. We created this child together. So yeah, I don't think people fully understand. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. Like so you have a game, but at the same time I'm like, oh yeah, I want to take the kids to Home Depot in the morning to build something, because if
Mhm.
if you don't know, like you can go to Home Depot on some
Mhm.
Saturday mornings. I think it's like the first Saturday of the month, and they give you all the tools so you can make stuff. And it was
Yeah.
just like something just to do, and it was free, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're young, so it's not like we rolling in dough. So of course we want to take advantage of free opportunities, but it's like, oh well, I ain't gonna be able to do that because I got a game, and even though the game doesn't start till 12, I gotta be out there at 10. So you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the issues come into play, because it's like, where do I fall in line? Like I really felt like it was God football
Him.
kids than me. Like it wasn't like me. Like I wasn't high enough up.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like I
Mhm.
was important. But while we are discussing our husband's hobbies, like I'm okay with the conversation going towards like wife, like how when you got married, did you see a change? Like people say it, but I don't think really people really believe it. Like, so even though you've known your spouse several years before you got married, it was like you said I do, and then it was like the whole relationship started over and nothing was the same.
Mhm.
Could you agree to that?
Taisha.
Mm. um, I don't think anything changed as far as my husband. I think my expectations changed. I think when you get married, you expect more out of the relationship than if you're dating someone because it's supposed to be forever.
Mhm.
And it took me a very long time to to acknowledge and be able to communicate that my expectations for you change because you're my husband.
Mm.
The first 3 years of our marriage was very rough. I don't even know how we got up out of there,
May I
honestly.
ask, did you have kids
Yes,
before you
we
got married?
had 2 kids before marriage.
Okay.
Um, we had been living together, what? I don't even know. It's so many dang on years by this time. We had been living together, living as husband and wife pretty much, had 2 kids, were together for so long. But the first 3 years of our marriage was definitely rocky. I feel after that we started to get settled, and I think by year, probably like in the last 2 years, has it's been settled. Like I feel settled in our marriage. We have a rhythm. We know each other in our marriage.
Mm.
Because we've known each other since high school, but we started dating at 18. So you have to change your mentality, change the way you think about your spouse because you're not 18 anymore. The things you were doing at 18, 19, we can't be doing at 34. Things change, things are different, expectations change. Um, I think us having kids young, we knew each other, but you don't know each other as parents. You don't know each other as um, people with a career because you're developing a career in your
Mm.
20s, um, raising kids. So it was a lot of growing pains early on in our marriage, and thank God we came out of it stronger. But yeah, it was difficult. But I feel, and I think he would agree, feel settled, even though things spark up all the time. We have to have these conversations periodically about different things, but that's the nature of marriage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear often that if you make it to year 7, you set.
I heard 5, and I was like, I
Girl.
got the 5, and I was waiting for the butterflies. It did not.
So you gotta let me know. You gotta let me know in November if you feel the butterflies then, because that's gonna be year 7.
I feel like we're inching closer, and that's because we are like, I feel like a lot of our old hard conversations was about finances. Like
Yep.
that was hard. Like after that, it was just like, I ain't even trying to talk about marriage. Let's just pay this bill. But now it's like we're having the hard conversations because like I think a lot about like if the kids went off to school or something, what will we have? Like, what will be the dynamic of our relationship? Forget marriage, but like us, like Leon and Lila, like how will we blend? Could we enjoy each other's company? Will I sleep on the couch and you sleep upstairs?
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think about stuff like that. So I'd rather us like get to the nitty gritty now versus me being like 50 and like just depressed going to the gym staring at younger guys while I'm walking on the treadmill or something. Because I just think about it, and I'm like, I sit in my car, I wait to like being a whole creep. I don't know. I don't see myself, but I'm just saying, and then, I don't know. So, but I do think like our marriage, well, after getting married, it did change because we already had a child. So it's like I kind of feel like there was no more Leon and Lila. It was Leon, Lila, and Aiden.
Yep.
My son or whatever.
And Katasha, I appreciate you saying like how the first 3 years was rocky, because I feel like the 7-year thing is true. Because I just now, like within the last year and a half, feel like, oh, we are great. You get what I'm saying? Of course, there are still, like you said, things that are going to come up, but it's not to the point where it's like, why the fuck I do this? Where the divorce papers? I'm like, do I still got the mojo? Go outside, somebody gonna go, hey girl, me or something. Um, but it because okay, when you get married, of course, people were like finances is the thing, that
Mhm.
typically ruins
Hmm.
most marriages. Okay, so what are we going to tell people before they get married? Things that they should make sure they know. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying like finances is a reason why marriages don't last. Okay, what way can we make it so that when people do get married, finances are not a reason that your marriage don't last? Like prepare
Ooh.
yourself for that. I think people don't realize like you getting married, not only are you combining, your
Hmm.
salaries, but you gotta file those taxes, and we have to make sure that people are doing things correctly so Uncle Sam don't come knocking at your door. Um
Stop
so
ignoring the cliche marriage advice. Like people like, oh, like you have to show up if you're gonna get married, you gotta be 100% with yourself. Like, don't think like not cliche, but like don't subside, like don't brush that to the side basically. Like
Yeah.
really listen to that because once you be once you become married, you become one. So you have to really learn how to share that space, you being the best version of yourself, your husband and your kids, or whatever the case is. And then you have to remember, yes, you can put yourself first, but there's going to be so many other things that is a priority that now it's like you become kind of part-time, like you getting yourself back and figuring out what you want to do, what your
Hmm.
purpose is, or what your goals are. It's like you can only tend to that. I mean, you can be selfish and just say like, look, I'm about to get my life together, although I'm married and I'm a mom, but realistically it just doesn't happen that way. So yes, go into a marriage whole, whatever whole means to you, not by the world standards, but like
Hmm.
figure out what you want to do with yourself, where you're headed. You don't have to have it all together, but
Hmm.
mentally and emotionally, somewhat have it together.
Hmm.
and
And
you
I think
also
I
oh,
can
I'm
agree
sorry, go
that
ahead,
that's
Kasaji.
I'm sorry, some of the hardship we had in our marriage because we were together as kids. I mean, you 18 years old in a relationship, you don't know yourself, you don't know what you like, you don't know what you don't like.
Mm,
You just with this person, so I spent a lot of time in my early 20s, wanting to fix him. And we've had
mm,
this like I knew he came with certain baggage and I wanted to be his everything. And I feel like I poured into him and I didn't pour anything into myself.
mm,
So I was 20 something years old, decided I'm tired of pouring into him. I haven't poured anything into me. I'm be selfish. And I was. I went back to school. I
mm,
lost weight.
mm-hmm,
I, started traveling. I needed space to become a woman. I was grown, I was an adult, but I wasn't
mm,
a woman. And I
mm-hmm,
spent a lot of time, several years, getting my shit together to be a woman. And it was difficult because I was saying, no, I'm not doing that. Or you gonna have to figure that out. Or no, I'm gonna put my money over here for a minute. And that was difficult for the dynamic of our relationship. But at almost year 8, Katisha has found her womanness the same way he has found his manness. And now
mm-hmm.
we are coming together now. That's why I'm saying it feels so settled right now because no one is responsible for the other person's happiness.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Yes.
did what I needed to do to feel complete and whole as a woman. And he had time to do that same thing. So now we're coming together, you know, better now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like greatness doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Anything worth having is going to require time. It's going to require
Yeah.
time, patience, blood, sweat, tears. And I think what happens is you think just because you said I do, like we're you've crossed the finish line. And
Mhm.
that's just the beginning. Like
Yep.
you ain't did nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. There's
Mhm.
so much work that you're gonna have to put into your
Yep.
marriage, and you have to learn how to compromise. I think that sometimes people get married and they're too, like, I don't even understand how you got married because you're too selfish.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
cannot be selfish in your marriage.
Mhm.
Now, I do understand, like, because you have to make decisions for yourself too. You get what I'm saying? Like Katisha said, to find herself. But at the same time, this is why, if you plan to be with someone for the rest of your life, I don't feel like you need to rush to get married. I feel like you could take the time, make sure you date each other. If you don't have kids, date
Mm.
each other, make
Yeah.
memories. So that way it's like it's something to miss when the kids do come, so that
Mhm.
you have something to look forward to. Like, oh, when this child turns old enough that we could leave them somewhere so we could take a trip, or they're responsible enough to
Mhm.
be home by themselves, or they go off to college, like we still can have a life for us. Like you were
Mhm.
saying
Mhm.
earlier, like don't get lost. Don't be in your marriage and all you are is a parent,
Mm.
Yep.
and we sleep in the bed together, but who are we? A couple of weeks ago, or not weeks, months. It's been some months. I had a conversation with Katisha and our little crew,
Mhm.
and I was like so distraught because I was like, my husband's I'm telling him he's my best friend, and he was like, I'm not your best friend, and I'm like, why are we not best friends? Like, I was so hurt. Like, why aren't we best friends?
Mhm.
What can I do to make him my best friend, right? And one thing that was said in that conversation was like, he doesn't necessarily have to be your best friend. He's your husband.
Yep.
So, and I was like, I ain't understand, because I felt like he needed to be both. And he was like, well, am I really your best friend? And I was like, yeah, you're my best friend. He was like, well, he said my best friend's name. And I'm like, I mean, that's my best friend too. And he was like, girl, we're not best friends. And I was like, why don't you want to be my best friend? And I mean, when I tell you, I was like butt hurt. It was like he broke
Oh
up with
my
me or something
gosh.
and go tell me like I'm not his best friend. I'm like, what? Like, you're rude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
how do you feel? Do you feel like you should be best friends with your husband, Lila?
No.
Really? It was just me out here feeling like we're supposed to be best
Yes.
friends.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
just you.
okay. It's just me. Okay, I'll stand
I
on the island
think
by myself.
I think it's too many expectations you put on your husband to set him up for failure. Like your best friend, the reason why I feel like some of my girlfriends are my best friend because they don't have to deal with the other stuff. Like
Mm.
my husband has to deal with family drama, money drama, kid drama, house drama, my work drama. Like he has to deal with it everything. Where sometimes he can't come to me as like I can't go to him as a listening ear. He's trying to fix it. Men are fixers, and it's difficult, to have certain conversations because you expect your best friend to be there, to be your listening ear, to have your back. And your husband naturally does those things just as your husband, but it's another layer of expectation that you put on him. And I
Mhm.
think it's certain things also that you may want to protect your husband from, not share with him just to keep your relationship alive, not hurt him. Like, but with your best friend, you can be more open. You can be, unfiltered. Whereas with your husband, you gotta navigate the waters to keep the home happy. So I'm not saying that you can't be best friends with your husband, but sometimes it may just be setting them up for you to be disappointed if you,
Mhm.
put that out there.
And then I
Feel
feel
like a
like
couple of months ago, you ain't say all that though, because then I would have been
Yes,
more
I did.
understanding. I don't think you
Yes,
said
I
it. Okay,
did.
maybe I wasn't in the space to hear
Where
it. Then I wasn't. I
where
was
is
right.
the other one?
I wasn't ready to. I wasn't ready to receive it. Then go ahead, Lila. Go
but
ahead.
I do feel like if my husband is my best friend, it's like then I'm putting him like it's like a level type thing. And then I
Yep.
get to like, or I put him on a shelf and then I can nitpick what I do and don't like about him. So I kind
Yep.
of look at it like, no, that's not my best friend. And it is what I'm about to call him. It's a little, I don't know, but I consider him like my foundation. I set the foundation for his friendships too, because I feel like I don't know, like him being my best friend is like, oh, I don't like this about him, but I'm his foundation. He's my foundation. I should set the tone for everything in his life, and he should set the tone for everything in my life or whatever. So I could go to him about anything, but he's above all to me. I feel like not God, myself, but yeah.
I think best friend minimizes their role in your life. He is my life partner.
Right.
We are partners. We do everything together. And with a best friend, y'all don't do everything together for real. It sounds nice. No, that's my bestie, my best friend. Like that sounds nice, but when people throw around best friend, I think about my husband. My best friend doesn't do half or provide half of what my husband provides for me as my life partner. We are family. We share a name. We share, everything. So I think best friend minimizes his role in my life.
I like how you put that.
I do. I like both of you. What you both said. I needed to hear that. Look, you kicking in with Key, and you giving me all the stuff I need to hear. Okay, yes. He is my foundation. He is my life partner. Like he don't gotta be my bestie. Okay, I receive it. I receive it now. Okay. I receive it now. Katisha, I'm telling you, you didn't say it like that. Okay. You didn't say it like that, but listen, I don't know how you said it. No, I probably was too hurt. I probably was too confused. Like, why be my best friend? Like, okay. So
anything out here on the streets, calling him a best friend.
Okay, it's like a downgrade. Okay, my bad. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and apologize. Like, I'm sorry for trying to make you my best friend. You're my life partner. You're my foundation. Like, ooh, girl, that sounds good, right? Like, all right, so okay, what like, I'm really still blown away by that. Like, I really am. Like,
but I want to go back to something that Lila said about like what we're gonna be after the kids. Okay. So we have been making a very valiant effort to work on our marriage to the point where 3 nights a week we have couples night, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know what the kids eating. I'm gonna figure out something real quick. I'm going to space out my schedule at work so I'm not too tired. So when he comes home from work, we watching TV, movies, talking, whatever, to spend time together. And it's we've had the opportunity to talk more, for him to hear about my day, me hear about his day, because I've seen so many couples. I think about it all the time, like kids that I went to school with or I grew up with, and their parents stayed together until like the minute the child graduated from high school. Child graduated from high school, went to college, like, oh, we ain't got to put up this charade no more. I don't like you, you don't like me, divorce. We ain't even got to deal with it no more. And I don't want to be that. So to not be that, we have to have our own relationship separate from the kids. I gotta like you. You gotta like me. We gotta be able to communicate. We gotta be able to fight fair or apologize to one another. My husband always says it's easy to fall in love, but I want to stand in love. He says it all the stand in it.
Okay, like, woo, we failed, but now we gotta stand. Okay.
Yeah. He says it all the time. So it's very important for me to have time with him. Go on vacations together, or long weekends together, separate from the kids. Because if I only know him as dad and he only knows me as mom, when these kids go along on their journey and have their own lives, we not gonna be mom and dad no more. What are we?
Right. That's exactly, like, that is what I be trying to say. I do not want to feel like that either. Like, let's make some memories now. Like, so that way when these kids are old enough to live life without us. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to get to know you. It's like,
Mm.
oh,
Yeah.
remember that time we did XYZ? Like we should go do XYZ again. I think we had our kids at a pretty decent age that by the time they're old enough, like we won't even be 45. Like
Yep.
that's still young. Like we still can like do a whole
Do
lot,
some stuff. Yeah.
Katisha, she started her clock all over, but we not gonna talk about that because it's not mothering
Yeah.
after
Don't
30.
talk to me about it.
Newborns
But
after
at my
30.
at my defense, my oldest will be 18. I'll be what, 42? Go with your brother. Mommy and daddy are going out of town. Your brother's 18. Go ahead and go with brother.
So just to continue, or to continue or whatever the conversation, I like Leon and I had, well, my husband, because people don't know, but anyway, we had this conversation last week, and it was to the point where like I was crying or about to cry because I was trying to prove to him, I was like, well, not prove, but make him understand like our happiness is important, and I needed him to like, I was like, I need you to see me like now, because I was like what makes you happy? And he was like, well, I don't understand what the fuss is about. We're in this house, you get your job, da 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 da. And I'm like, Leon, like this stuff could be gone any second.
Yeah.
So what is left? Just us? So like, what do we have like between you and I or whatever? He was like, he couldn't see it, because I think like, not saying this is it for him, like having the house and us being established and stuff like that, but that's his personal goal. He worked to get to this point, but I just want to make him understand that if this stuff goes, we have to set something here. And yes, we love each other, but like you said, Katisha, your husband say like, no, I want to be able to stand. I can stay. We can stay married until the kids go off to school, and then I'll be a creep outside of Gold's Gym looking for 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds. I don't want to do that. I just really see myself doing that, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, but so that's why I'm like, we really have to, I want to see you. I want you to see me for who I am or whatever. And if we got to keep starting over and over and over, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I think
that's exactly what happens.
But you need to continuously date. And another thing that, most married couples say to you is never go to bed angry. And I really do agree with that. Like, I really do want to try to resolve something before we go to sleep. Because if we could do it one time, then we could do it another night. You get what I'm saying? And if we went to bed angry on Monday and we're still angry Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like, now we're putting distance between us. And we're not resolving it.
I don't think you should go to bed consecutively angry, but I might need to go to bed angry tonight so we can talk about it tomorrow.
So what's your cutoff petty point then? Like, so
I don't have one.
You don't?
She's the ultimate petty queen. Give her the crown. She would poor her husband. No, but this is
be mad that long. I can't.
So I can't stay mad for long either. You get what I'm saying? And my love language is, do you want salmon for dinner? Like, I cook dinner. Come eat it. Come on, let's make up. Let's talk. But let's be transparent for real. Yesterday I came home and I was like, "What's up? Like, you ain't touched me. Where's my hug, kiss? Like, what's going on? Like, I've been feeling like you ain't fucking with me, for a couple of days." And I try to be mindful because, maybe sometimes I'm overreacting to something. So I didn't want to say something was a big deal that wasn't a big deal. And finally, yesterday, which is Friday, he tells me he's been upset since Monday. But when was anyone going when were you going to tell me you were upset with me? Like, I did something on Monday to make you upset till Friday. I mean, it's to the point
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if we're good right now either because it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been discussed. Like he said what made him upset, but we haven't discussed it. And now I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to process my emotions because I'm all over the place. Because it's like certain things that he's upset about is not all because of me, and it's out of my control. Like I cannot fix that either.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm trying to push down my emotions so I can still be strong for him for the other thing of the battles that he can't, like he's not, it's a losing battle. He can't win it. But
Mm-hmm.
then now it's like, well, how do, like, we still, like, I don't want to push aside the other things on your plate, but how do we fix the main course?
Mm-hmm.
How can we fix what can be repaired? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm really like, I, you know, at a loss because it's like, oh, you've been upset since Monday. You went a whole 5 days. Now, if I did that, if I went, if I went 5 days,
Burn the house
giving him a
down.
little bit of shade, you know, I'm not gonna say he
Mm-hmm.
shaded me, but distant, being
Mm-hmm.
distant. The whole world, like, it would be crashing and burning. I would have,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would have assassinated the president. That's what it would have came off like, the whole grand jury. But he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's why I don't be understanding.
So I think that the beauty of marriage is you kind of understand the person and how they communicate or don't communicate. But I feel like part of that womanness that you come into and not being responsible for other people's emotions and
Mm,
actions, you
mm,
still got to do that even in marriage because you can't, you don't have the luxury of stopping this train from moving. And when I say train, your family, your kids, your husband, because he's still on the train. You can't stop that train from moving because we have a failure to communicate. You still got to keep it pushing. So I'm not saying you should suppress your feelings at all. You're gonna have to push through your feelings and realize, I got the backstory. You have to realize that what you're doing is in everyone's best interest. And when you keep that in mind, the extra will fall away. They'll fall to the side. But you have to
Here,
stand, you
I
got to
just learned
stand
that
in your
last week.
womanness.
Just learned that
Hmm.
last week.
You got to
And
stand in your womanness.
yeah,
Okay.
see, and I think that women don't get the credit. Not saying that I need to be praised or put on a pedestal, but where your husband leads, he needs someone strong to hold him up. And I don't think the women gets like, honey, like, yes,
I'm
okay,
the neck.
you leading, but I'm pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you the, what I want to say. He the foundation, but I'm the cement.
Mm,
Okay, so you lay the foundation, but I'm building. I'm building on top of your foundation. You get what
mm,
I'm saying? And I don't think that people understand the the weight the wife holds.
mm-hmm.
Because it's supposed to be God, your husband, then your wife. But the
Hmm.
wife, she's such an integral part in this that, sometimes she kind of gets left to the wayside.
So I look at it as, my husband leads, but I'm holding the map.
Mm,
So in order for us to know where we're going and how we get there and the best way to get there, your wife is holding the directions. I got the map. I
okay,
know what needs to be
GPS.
done. Yes, ma'am. I know what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And because I stay on top of the things that need to be done on this journey, you are allowed to just make the decision on the mode in which we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be the head. The head has the eyes that can see, but without the neck, you're just gonna be looking forward. You need someone to guide your head from side to side, up and down.
Okay. On the
Yes,
swivel. I
ma'am.
like
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Look, you know what? I feel like wife life was for me. I needed the conversation more than the people may
I know.
need.
You never know.
Good type, Katisha, because I think we forget, like when we get in the zone of motherhood and being a wife, like we forget like our strong suit, like what we bring to the table. And I think we not only do we forget, but I don't know, we feel like we can't be vulnerable, like we can't be upset, we can't be mad, or like we were talking about being petty or whatever. We feel like those two things can't exist or whatever. But I think, like Kiki, you were saying you were upset. Well, you had came to him and you were like, that Friday or whatever, and it was like, I wasn't getting no love or what so have you. Like Katisha said, I don't feel like you should put your feelings aside or whatever like that, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And just because he hasn't arrived at a place where he knows how to communicate how he feels, we shouldn't have to subside what we're feeling. We need something. This is, this is a two-way street or whatever. This is not, well, I've been a strong one, I continue to be the strong one. Like, no, that's gonna get played out and we're gonna get worn out. And we're gonna become what were we saying? What were we saying earlier? Bitter and resentful.
Resentful. Yep. You have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. You can be mad at me all you want to, but that doesn't stop all the other things that's on your plate to complete. You can be upset with me, but you still need to come here and cook this dinner. I'll be upset with you and this laundry still got to be done. I can be upset with you and these kids still got to be in virtual learning. Who's checking this homework? All these things can happen at one time. Okay.
And I really hope that men take the chance to listen to this conversation as well. Men who are married, men who are thinking about marriage, like realizing that, you have to, I think equally, like the wife should have her husband on a pedestal and the husband should have his wife on the pedestal. So that way it doesn't feel like one person is carrying the whole load, because we are a team, And I think even me, I think sometimes I forget we are a team, because I have an issue of like wanting to be in control. Like I feel like I have to navigate all the waters, because I'm not sure if you're going to test it to make sure we're not going to get burned or we're not going to freeze, and that's something, you got to kind of learn how to, sometimes you may just have to let him lead you to the hot water. Okay. He got to feel the steam for himself. Then it's not like I told you so, but it's just like, let me help you. Because I can help you in this aspect. Right? Vice versa. I may need to touch that hot water and be like, "Whoo, maybe I should let him handle this."
And then he'll be reminded of your place, your part, why you guys are a partnership and he's not in this marriage alone, or he's not standing on his own. Maybe we do, like, I feel like we should have enough faith to know that God got us covered. And like you said, kind of like, maybe we need to touch hot water. And then you're going, who else are you going to look to, to heal or to get out of this tough spot or whatever.
Right.
So I hear that.
Sometimes, we gotta,
not all the time now. Not
all the time. But sometimes a hard head make for a soft behind. Sometimes we gotta actually experience something to realize, like, oh, I could have handled this better.
Mhm.
Life is like, we are meant to make mistakes.
Mhm.
It's just the importance of, are you learning from the mistakes you make, so that you don't continuously make the same mistake, because sorry or apologizing will get old after a while. Just like, I love that analogy. Is that what I want to call it? Hold on, I may have to erase that. Katisha, is this an analogy? When that story where they be like, you know someone dropped a plate and the plate was broken, and
Mhm.
now say sorry to the plate.
Mhm.
Okay, you say sorry to the plate. Now, is the plate fixed?
Right. No,
Like,
that's an
it doesn't.
analogy. Yes.
Yeah, so, um, that's how I really like look at life. Like, I really break that down to the kids,
Mm.
because it's not not saying. I mean, your husband is like your third child. No shade. Fourth child, Katisha. But it's you know you have like, I'm a visual person, so hearing that story and then looking at it like, oh, like, I broke the plate and I say sorry to the plate, but the plate didn't get put back together, then I understand, like, sorry, it's just change behavior
Words.
is sorry,
Yep.
Mm.
like, not
Yeah.
that word itself.
Mhm.
So, um you know happy wife, happy life. It's like, no,
Happy
no, for
spouse,
real. No,
happy house.
happy spouse, happy house. Like, really, I do feel
Mhm.
that. I do
Mhm.
feel happy house, happy spouse.
Yes.
Because it's not just about one person. It's not just about the wife.
No, it's not.
It's time for the
No,
gym.
Katisha had dropped some gems. Like I just said,
Yeah.
my emotions. I just learned that last week until I had a breakdown that got me to that point. And it was like I was crying and just like, I don't have space to be vulnerable. And that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I can't keep it together all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it looks good on paper. Oh, Lila's a great mom, whatever. But no, I need to be able to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
And I need you to not say anything, period. And it's not one
Yep.
of those things like, oh, well, I should have a say. No, I have to be vulnerable. And then if tomorrow you want to come back and say, well, this is how I feel, that's fine. But give me that space. I need that. Like, and acknowledge, what I do in this home. So don't expect, I'm not a robot.
Mhm.
It's not
Yep.
fair for me to be a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you look at it like, oh, okay, well, you seem good yesterday. You washed the clothes, you folded and you put them up. Like, yeah, that's what you see, and I can't stop because that's just who I am. But um, share that space to be vulnerable, because when you talk about your job, you talk about your hobbies or your friends, I'm there, like I'm listening, and I'm creating that space for you. Create that space for me too. So if I, like you, Kiki, your husband come home and you want love, you want a hug, you want a kiss, you deserve that. We need that. So
And my husband said something to me a while ago. He says, "You never complain about it." So I didn't know it was a problem
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to I'm juggling all these balls that I feel can't drop, but I'm not saying I
mm,
need help. I need you to do this. I need, you're not saying anything. So I'm thinking you're good. And the whole time I'm stewing because he's not picking up on that I need help. If you
mm,
don't say anything, I mean, men are very simple. You need to
Mm-hmm.
tell me what you want and how you want it,
mm,
not read my mind or don't you see what I'm doing? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
not seeing that. They need it
Right.
clear cut. Like, I need you home at 7. I need you to wash the dishes and put them away. I need you
Mm-hmm.
to sweep the floor
mm,
with the broom. Like, you gotta break it
Not the
down.
Swiffer, not the
Yes,
Swiffer. You have
yes,
to sweep and then you can mop.
yes.
You need
They
step-by-step instructions.
yes.
I
Very, very
agree.
plain.
But I
but
think
that
as
deal with
women,
the emotional stuff too,
Yeah.
though.
yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
but
we need that.
but as women, I don't think we okay. I will say this when it comes to being a mother, I feel like it just comes natural to most women, right? So it's
Mhm.
just like, I have to do this for my kid so that my kid can be nourished and grow and be smart and great, blah, blah, blah. It just comes. Whereas with some fathers, it's like, I just gotta make sure it don't die. So I change the diaper, I feed it. And that's the that's the basic, right? I mean, that's the gist.
Yeah.
So even when it comes to, managing your household, being in this marriage, we as women, and I feel like all of us have been a victim of this, we don't say nothing. We don't
Mhm.
speak up. We don't share like I felt overwhelmed today because I had to do XYZ ABC. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they come home, we got attitude with them because we feel it's their fault. But we got a whole attitude and they don't even know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mhm.
So, and I've been seeing this a lot, like not even with people who are married, like people who are dating, co-parenting, whatever the case may be, like you're not saying what you need. I feel like if you say what you need, you will get what you need. Now the issue with me is I'm afraid that I may say what I need and that he's not going to give me what I need, and then now I'm going to have a reason to be upset. But guess what? I
Mhm.
just created a whole narrative in my brain
Sure
that
did.
may not even be
Yep.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a lot of people that's guilty of doing that, where
Mm-hmm.
we just create this whole story that I'm gonna say I'm gonna need help and then I'm not gonna get the help. I mean, there is times that I may have asked for something and I didn't get it to the capacity in which I need it, but I have to realize that maybe that's the capacity that in which he can give it. Maybe he can't give me what I need because he don't know how to give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
not his fault.
we gotta be honest that we're imperfect. We
Mm-hmm.
are imperfect as women and men are imperfect. I say this all the time that I have to have re-up conversations with my husband. My husband is not the type like you told him once and from that point until the day he died, he got it. No, he's not that way. He has it for a segment of time and then may revert. So I'm like, honey, remember that conversation we had about Super
Mm-hmm.
Dad Monday? And he's like, yes, I remember the conversation we had about Super Dad Monday. And it goes right back in. We're
Mm-hmm.
imperfect. He's imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
I have figured out that that's what my husband needs. These re-up conversations about, and he has to do it with me too. His feelings, things that he needs, his expectations, my expectations. Like we had to have a whole conversation about, I don't mind, this is small, but I don't mind doing your laundry. When me and you are on the same page, laundry getting done is no problem. The minute me and you are out of whack, your laundry annoys me. The thought of it pisses me off. So we got to stay, in line and in tune so that, when it's just laundry day, it's just laundry
That
Right.
is so
day.
real. That is so simple. That's real.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because I like for real, it's like
I just don't do the laundry no more. Not his.
yeah, it's been petty moments over here too. Because it's like, okay, I finally emptied out my laundry basket, and then he's like, "Well, damn, you can't do my laundry." But I'm like, "Well, look, 4 years ago, you told me you ain't like how I wash clothes, so boom, wash your own clothes." And he's been washing his own clothes. Now you want me to wash your clothes, like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you need to ask
Mm-hmm.
me to wash your clothes then, because you shouldn't have said you ain't like how I washed your clothes. First of all, it's not how I wash my clothes, how I wash the clothes. You try to put too many clothes in the washing machine. You cannot overfill the washing machine and put 1 cup of detergent and think it's gonna clean your clothes.
Mm.
It's not me, it's
Well,
you.
I have the other. So I wash clothes. I use hot water. I use bleach. I use the pods and the fresheners. I have a very bougie laundry routine. I love it. Okay, but
Mm.
if you put something in the dark clothes basket, for example, I don't know it's supposed to be gentle cycle because if it would had special needs, it shouldn't have been in the normal basket. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just washing the clothes all as normal. And then he got upset, was like, you gotta read the tags and pay attention. No, I don't. But then here come my mother talk about Katisha, you really should read the tag. No. So now I don't want to do it no more. No. Because you didn't brag on his side and said I was wrong. Nope. You gotta wash your own clothes.
I do have a basket that's like, oh, this is supposed to be like either dry clean only or delicate wash that I put my stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
he gets upset because of course I ain't been taking nothing to no dry cleaners lately. So he's like, well, why is this? You don't even need these clothes. You haven't even worn them. They wash. I'm like, first of all, mind the business that pays you, okay? Because he is quick to try to get rid of my clothes because he thinks I have too many. But look, what makes me happy? Don't be touching my stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna touch you. Don't touch my stuff. You leave my stuff, I leave your stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies, I really appreciate you all sharing your stories, getting in depth, being transparent. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Both of you are like my sisters, I got my sisters on the call. So what is some advice that you would give to someone listening to this call who, is thinking about marriage, is married, getting married? What's a key bit of advice? What's a gem? Come on, drop some gems. I mean, Katisha, well, both of y'all have been dropping gems this whole conversation, but let's, bullet point a gem right now.
I wouldn't suggest anyone get married in their 20s. Spend your 20s growing into your adulthood.
Be honest. Tell them.
I mean, I feel like just naturally there are things in your 20s that you need to experience, and you should have that space between being a child and being a whole grown ass person to do things you want to do without restriction, responsibility, judgment. I think you should have that space. Spend time together. I mean, do things that make you happy in your marriage. That could be making sushi together, watching a movie together. Oh, help him take a shower when he wants to.
I hear your man that came, he done entered the conversation. Hey, I want to smoke leaf.
He want to take a shower, those type of things. Find things that y'all like doing together.
I'm going to second that. Kiki, I think I've talked to you about that too. Probably said the same thing. Yeah, like spend your 20s getting yourself together, dating one another. I would definitely say travel. Like if you have the funds, I'm not saying like if you don't, then that's fine. But definitely travel, see the world, understand it. Just vast in that time together before, like Katisha said, the responsibilities. I think kids' responsibilities, it just makes things so complex where you can't really see your significant other. You can't really see them. Everything is just so clouded because you got to not necessarily put those things before your significant other, but it just makes it difficult and more complex. Get to know one another, spend time, date, keep people out your business. And
keep people out your business.
Yeah, and talk, have the hard conversations. Like, what's the dynamic of his relationship with his parents? Like, ask questions, stuff like that. Like, what do you think about kids before you even? I know people are like, oh, I already heard that. No, listen again. Like, actually listen, ask the questions. Watch how he interact with his mom. How do we talk with his mom? How do we talk with his dad? And I'm not saying that these things, you should judge a person by these things, but based off what you see and what you perceive or whatever, have those conversations. And that goes for the male and, the male asking the female and the female asking the male. Because you don't think about those things until you get married. Like, oh my gosh, but yeah.
I
Have
most
conversations
definitely.
about your goals. Do your goals align? Or y'all,
Hmm.
it may not, the timetable line up and things you want, making sure y'all, because you can be um on the same journey, but you might be wanting to take the plane and he might want to be in the car. So y'all have the same intention, but the timetable of getting there may not match up.
I love that, girl, because the car ride gonna be longer than the plane ride. So you try to get there in 2 hours, and it may take him 10 hours. Like, okay, girl, you winning today,
Exactly.
girl. Girl,
Mm.
I owe you a cupcake.
We're
So
not gonna
what?
go there.
Okay,
We're not gonna go
so
there.
um, what I would say is be, you know, able to take advice. Like, just sometimes, okay, there are people out here who be hating and they don't want to see you happy, right? But there are genuine people who really just want the best for you, and they're trying to tell you something because you don't see it for yourself initially, that you should be receptive to. So I would say listen when someone gives you keen advice. Okay, like that. If it make your ears itch a little bit, it perk up or something, it's like, maybe I should take that into consideration. I most definitely feel as though if you do not have kids before you get married, once you get married, enjoy like 2-3 years of just married life, just you and him, just creating, or you and her, who the spouses. Okay, enjoy your spouse. Find that time to just get to know each other at a deeper level of intimacy. Exploring things. Buy you a house. If you're interested in that, or buy you a condo, buy you a something, just before you say I do, make sure that you have lived your life. Make sure that you have had bills, real bills. They have had real bills, stuff as small as like having a car, having your own car, having your own place, just knowing how like life works, like how to be an adult before you just are two kids and now we adults. Like you left your mama house and then you went to together. Like, no, just, you know, get to know you, like you yourself. Just like fall in love with yourself. So that way your cup is already overflowing and you have enough in you to pour into someone else. Okay. I just really think that it's important to, when you get married with the intentions to stay married, and you do all that you can to do just that. It's so many divorces because you just was in love with the idea of being in love, and love ain't gonna keep the marriage. Okay, we got to have more than just love. Like, we cannot, the foundation of the marriage cannot just be love. It has to be more into it, and then you build on that. So that's all I would say to you. Even if you don't take any of the advice that we have given you today, just don't give up. Don't throw in the towel without putting in, oh, like you did all that you could, and then it was like, okay, I can't do anything. Now, if you're in a domestic abuse or something, like, we're not telling you to stay in harm's way. I'm just saying, when it's things that it could be worked out, finances, small disagreements, you didn't wash the clothes with enough laundry detergent, like, you shouldn't get divorced over that. But there are people who get divorced for small things of that nature. That means you shouldn't have got married in the first place, in my opinion. But who am I? I digress.
I also think that one of those sayings that people have, like men get married saying the woman won't change, and women get married saying that the man will change.
Mm.
When men stay the same, who they are before marriage is what they will be after. So don't marry an idea. Don't marry. Now, I'm not talking about, potential with a plan, because you can marry potential with a plan, but don't marry the idea of I see him being so much better, or I could see him doing that, because you can have an idea for someone's life they do not have for their own. And you marrying someone, thinking that they could be something other than what they are, you should walk into the marriage saying, if this man stays this way forever, I'm gonna be okay with that.
That's
That's
deep,
good.
girl.
And let me say this. I'm sure all of you will say the same. I love my husband deep. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me through the ups and downs. He has changed my life. He has unfolded things in my life. He has unlocked my potential. He has provided me space to grow into my womanhood. And the greatest thing that I have done in my life is marry him.
Okay, I could praise my man too. Okay, we could do that, so that way it don't come off like we was trying to be hating on the man's. I could do that.
Let's
Okay,
go. Let's go.
all right. So I love my husband dearly. Despite any ups or downs, there's no one in this world who I would rather do life with other than him. My husband has poured into me. He has believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He has uplifted me, encouraged me, prayed for me when I couldn't pray for myself. He established me having faith. He pushed me to the church to find Jesus in my own light. And I feel like without God, our relationship can't prosper beyond the potential that we had set for it. So I am thankful for him. Despite any shortcomings he has, I appreciate the fact that we do go tooth and nail. We fighting for this. So he may not be wanting to talk to me today, but he gonna talk to me tomorrow. Because there's days I don't want to talk to him, and I talk to him the next day. But I love my man. I'm willing to fight for my man, and I'm going to protect my Black king at all costs.
Y'all are so profound. Like I really don't have anything other than, so if you listen to a song called Booty Box by Rare Essence, then that really tells my story and explains how how I feel about my husband. I'm just gonna leave it there. But no, you guys took the words out of my mouth. I have nothing. But listen to Booty Box by Rare Essence. I'm telling you, that speaks to my soul about marriage, my love for him. It's very profound, just like the words that these ladies have said, today. But Booty Box.
I cannot with you. Woody Box will be playing at the end of this episode. Please check it out.
Yes.
It will be the outro. All right. So it's season 2. I end every episode with this, because we were talking about some deep stuff. And it's like, come on, let's liven it up. So, Lila, what you watching on TV, girl?
Your Honor. And then last night I started watching what's the Southern Belle or Belle Collective? Belle Collective. It's on own network, but Your Honor and Belle Collective.
All right, and Katisha, I know you back again. You were just such a great guest the first time. So, girl, what you watching? Yes, honey. So
okay. This is a long list, so get y'all notepad together, okay? Anyone that has not seen the movie American Skin, you need to see it right now, especially if you have a Black son, a Black nephew, a Black husband. Please watch American Skin. It's very, very good. I am watching The Bachelor with our first Black Bachelor. Get into it, okay? I am also watching 911 and 911 Lone Star. Yes, Fox on Monday night. Okay. Waiting for This Is Us to come back. That's my show. I'm also watching Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight, as a married person, is a good show to watch because, we always, as married people, you say, it's not about looks, it's about love, it's about all those check boxes that we talk about. And Married at First Sight, I feel really puts that to the test. Like, if somebody checks off all your boxes but ain't cute, can it work? That is the question. So Married at First Sight is a favorite of mine, and so is SVU. I watch SVU, and Stabler is back, so that's a big deal. I think that's it. Am I watching anything else, Kiki? I think that's it.
I think you said everything
Okay.
because we typically watching the same thing. First of all, shout out to
Yeah.
Fox because
Yes.
the spinoff to 911 is giving like, are y'all trying to get rid of 911? Like, that's how I'm feeling. Like, it's giving really excitement. Like, whoa. I'm still watching All Rise on CBS. I really love that. It's about a Black judge named Lola Carmichael, and she's all thing Black girls magic. Love it. I did see American Skin. I did watch it with my spouse. Good conversations were had after we watched that show. I mean that movie. I'm sorry. Really, really good storyline. Unfortunate, but it needs to be told. Because you ain't mentioned Wednesday night. So Chicago Med, PD, Fire, all them good shows. And I'm still need to watch Bridgerton. I need to watch Bridgerton. So
Yes, you do.
that's
Oh, I'm
that's
watching
next
that
on my
too.
list. You watching that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna watch it so that way we can talk about it one day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Girls, I thank you so much for kicking it with Key on this cold but sunny day because it's giving light. Okay, it's giving. It's
I love this
giving.
hair on you.
Okay, girl, I'm loving it too. Okay, thank you, girl. But thank y'all so much. Until next time, you stay 6 feet apart, you wash your hands, and you wear the goddamn mask. Until then,
Hello.
I'm out.
Bye.